So then came the beginning of the prison phase, which also overlaps a continuation of the biosphere phase, the nature realms phase.
It's true.
But to take this work into the prisons, where we discover, wow, no vortices running here.
No vortices running, full of entities.
Full of entities.
Just so full of negativity.
The higher soul of the correctional facility not allowed in.
Right.
Locked out. No, we want to do what we want to do. We don't want a stinking soul. Learning all the American institutions have beautiful higher souls, and that none of them can get into these institutions who purport to be them.
The healthcare system, education, and the arts,
the military, the correctional facilities, everything. Just people with the bit in their teeth. I want to do what I want to do.
Who didn't have the best intentions.
Well, some people have good intentions.
True. Some people do.
But many people don't. They don't have good intentions. They want to do what they want to do for their personal gain.
It's true.
They're not thinking about the greater good. They're not thinking about anyone else. They want to know, what's in it for me? Whew, that was intense.
It's true. And we noticed how different correctional facilities, the energy was different.
Yes.
And the really big ones, the ones that had a lot of stuff going on, it was just too much.
It was way too much.
It was way too much.
It's like the law of attraction is real. Like does attract like. And once you get that much heavy energy together, it's just calling other heavy energy to it. Boom,
right, packing it in.
Boom. Packing it in, and then the entities from all around, from miles around, can smell it, sniff it, and whoa, they start to move in, and then, oh my gosh, it's just impossible to change. It has to be broken up.
We saw how many prisoners didn't feel like they had any hope.
Right. And we saw how others were just counting off the days until they could get out and pick up where they left off, that they didn't have any intention of changing. Some didn't have any hope that they could be different, and others didn't have any intention to be different.
Right. They weren't saying, this is my life now. They were saying, this is just like a sojourn.
A sabbatical.
A sabbatical.
From my normal life. So how many of the people who work there don't want it to change?
That's true.
They don't really want things to get better. They like it just the way it is.
That's true.
Not everybody. Some people really do want to make a difference. There are good people who want to make a difference.
And there are good people who came in to help and got just dragged down. Some in the first day.
Some in the very first day. Yes, like that chaplain in Baltimore.
Right. It was like they came in really wanting to make a difference, and then boom, taken down within a day, within 2 hours. Right. Before lunch,
had already packed up that idea of the soul contract. Not doing that. Wow. And then stays for 20 years.
Right.
And how good people can be taken down that quickly means that we too could be vulnerable like that if we don't keep our pillars long. That's it. Ding, ding, ding. We learned how crucial it is to keep the proper ratio of length to width. And that this is not a topic that's even on the map in the energy communities. No one is talking about this. No one is talking about this. Anyone who's even having an energy discussion is not discussing the need to keep a proper ratio, and that an effective ratio is at least 200 times taller than wide.
At least.
At least. That is the minimum. That is like the threshold, threshold level. 1,000 to 1. A much better ratio. 1,000 times longer than wide in our energy body. Vertical focus, totally vertical focus, so that we can be anchored into source below, anchored into source above. That way the storms of life pass around us, and we're stable. We're able to be a space for spirit. Click. Now we come to the Florida stage of the D.C. assignment with the unexpected opportunity to go clean mold for 2 weeks. Right?
That's true.
It was a beautiful opportunity. We learned so much.
We spent so much of that time down clearing those lower realms.
Right. We learned that there is really organized resistance to the divine plan. Organized resistance. But we also learned that in the end, everyone wears white hats, that all of the billions upon billions upon billions of variations in the ways this plan can unfold all lead to the same place in which everyone wears white hats. We're all reunited with the divine. We're all living our soul plan.
Right.
So it's not a question of whether or not this will occur. It's simply a question of how long we struggle and fight and stretch and strain and scream and cry before we give in, live our soul plan, and create lives of joy and a world that works.
Right.
But we also noticed that the biosphere seems to disappear.
That's true.
Which means that one of the options that's being considered includes total destruction of the biosphere.
That's true.
When we see the bookends of the options that are still being considered, we see how all the variability of plans that are being considered is narrowing.
Right.
We see that there's going to be a decision by the higher dimension beings sometime in the next 2 or 3 months, let's say. And that the range of possibilities seems to go from total destruction of civilization for a long, 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 long time.
3,000 years.
Oh,
at least.
20,000 years is how it feels to me now. Feel it with your hand.
It does feel true.
More like 20,000 years. Boom, right?
That is true.
At least 20,000 years. Making this completely all prehistoric, right?
Prehistoric.
This will no longer be known of if another civilization rises.
Right.
It'll be at least 20,000 years from now. This is all prehistoric. That is the least dramatic shift.
That's true.
And then there are many other options being considered. In the other bookend, the most dramatic shift is somehow Earth breaking up into a new asteroid belt, so that poor Mars will have asteroid belts on both sides.
It's true.
I don't know what that thing would be.
I don't know. That could make the Earth, because it breaks into tiny bits.
Well, into asteroids. I wouldn't call them tiny. I mean, some of it is tiny, dust.
Right.
But others are, chunks of asteroids.
True. Just tiny in comparison to the size of the Earth.
Oh, right. Definitely.
Right.
Earth blown to bits.
But that's clearly the solid one end of the bookend.
That's the solid end of the bookend. That's bolted. That doesn't move. The only question is,
where's the other
bookend
in relation to this bookend?
Right. And there's 2 or 3 months left before that decision is made.
That's true. And the plan table is still
being worked with. Shifting. But the range of shifting that used to be huge is now much narrower.
Much narrower.
They're narrowing in on what the plan is. And when they decide, it will have been a wise, thoughtful, loving, collaborative decision-making process by the best minds in the universe. And we can trust these people. They know what they're doing. They've made a lot of these freezes, F-R-I-E-Z-E-S. They've made a lot of these freezes, right? We can trust them.
It's true.
It will be a good plan. It will be the best plan. If there were a better plan, that would be the plan.
That would be the plan.
It will be the best plan, the best possible plan, given the willingness of the sentient beings to do whatever it is that needs to be done.
Right.
Given that many people and sentient beings of other species have no intention of doing anything that their guides suggest, it has to be a dramatic shift. Oppositional, defiant disorder is not easy to deal with.
That's true.
It's not. So we learned that the garden belongs to the gardener.
That's exactly it.
Beautiful things don't belong to the person who purports to own them. Beautiful things belong to the person who cleans them and tends for them and cares for them.
It's true.
The garden is not owned by the landowner. The garden belongs to the gardener, who in many cases could be an undocumented immigrant with no legal rights, but who knows the garden, cares for it. We really learned very clearly once more how it is absolutely impossible for people to live in society and have any clarity about what's true, because good people were making crazy decisions, just crazy decisions that made no sense on any level.
It's true.
Because they're drowning in a society that's based on lies. Level upon level upon level upon level of lies.
We have the opportunity to practice in the physical dimension steps of letting go of the old life.
As we have this entire process.
Right.
This has been a beautiful gift to uproot from New York and Florida and move to the D.C. area. Start to develop a life here, and then have to once again uproot, leave it for 2 weeks, drop everything once more and run, basically.
Right.
Go back to Florida, a place we both live. Try to not get sucked into it. That wasn't easy, right?
No.
And then once more uproot, come back to D.C., right? Although that felt less like an uprooting and more like done for now. And here we are, knowing that once again, we will uproot once more. And that it's coming soon. And that letting go of everything is coming for all of us, because this civilization is going down. And it's only a question of how fast, right?
Right.
We also learned that it seems to be that a year from now there's nothing there. There's no civilization there. Can't feel
Nothing,
it.
can't feel.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I can't feel it at 6 months, to be honest. There's not
neither.
anything that I would call civilization.
Not in spring.
Not by, well, I'm feeling in March. That's where I'm trying to feel
March.
right now.
That's what I was feeling.
And I don't feel anything there. But then, boy, February is weird. January is weird. Ooh, December is very
December
weird.
is very tough.
So it's coming. It's coming. We know the timing can shift, but
It's
we
true.
also see that when the floor locks into place on the plan, boom, that, boy, it happens fast.
Right.
boy, it happens fast. And so it's just a question of the guides really being sure they're taking everything under consideration. They're being extremely careful and thoughtful.
That's true.
So are the choreographers. Every level of higher dimension being is being extremely careful. Incorrect. Every level of participating higher dimension being is
That's true.
being extremely careful. There are some who are not participating. It's fascinating to watch.
That's true.
And we know that as above, it's the same below, that the people who step up grow and become more capable. And the people who don't step up shrink and become less capable. It's no different upstairs.
It's true.
The people who are stepping up are growing, becoming more capable. And in the higher dimensions, the job goes to the person who's most capable always, right?
That's true.
And so those higher dimension beings who are not participating have chosen to make themselves irrelevant.
Right.
Those jobs will go to others, right? That's just how the system works. So I think the most important thing, she said now, summary statement, tick, tick, tick. The most important thing we learned is that in the end, everyone wears white hats. In the end, all roads lead to reunion with Spirit. It's
true.
not a question of if the divine plan will manifest. It's simply a question of how long it takes, how long we struggle for our right to suffer before we give in and live our soul plan. And we learned that we're all flawed, although we've known that very well, that we learn it again at finer and finer levels, and that all these flaws are shared by all of us, that we can all find these elements in ourselves, and that by offering ourselves in service to help all of us, in fact, we ourselves can be healed at a truly deep level. And we learned once more that we are responsible for our relationship with Source. It's up to us to reach towards Source, to reach for Spirit, to reach for the guides.
Right.
That they cannot come into our energy bodies without our reaching for them. And they cannot do what is ours to do. They can do what we can't do, but they can't do what is ours to do.
It's true.
Oh, we also learned it just isn't going to happen without the vibrations tuned to the vibrations of the future. It isn't going to happen.
That's true.
Well, we learned that we all always feel like our assignment is impossible. That our assignments are too difficult. Impossible. No way. We all feel that. Everybody does, without exception. And that we're all always incorrect about that.
That's true.
Incorrect. That we can all always do it. That we're never called to do anything that's impossible. It might stretch us beyond belief. It will require that we turn ourselves inside out fundamentally.
Right.
But we also learn that there are 1,000,000, precisely 1 million people who are here to trigger the awakening because there was a call for 1 million souls. Many more than that responded, and 1 million said yes, made it all the way through the vetting process and signed an ironclad contract, clang, 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 that they would trigger the awakening no matter what anyone else did or didn't do, and that there are consequences to breaking that contract. And those consequences begin in this life and extend for many lives to come. Many lives to come.
It's true.
And these people will in the far distant future be saying, what in the world did I do to have life after life after life be so miserable? And the answer will be, it's what you didn't do, my friend.
It's true.
Click. You feel that click?
Yeah.
That is what we learned.